are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with the always lovely and talented Andrea Kay, the always incredible Urban Miaris.
Woohoo!
And we have with us a group here from one of our favorite companies. Welcome, Eve Nasby.
And I'm a groupie of that group.
You're a groupie of that group. Okay, well, you're not nervous for this interview, right, Eve?
No, not at all.
Good.
My life is on the line, and so is my job. So if we blow it, I'm fired.
Then hopefully they haven't been listening to the past shows you've been on here. TV.
Right?
Well, if you fired Eve, I'll start a company
exactly
so you can work. We can work
Thank
together.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Urban. God bless you.
Urban has his 24th company waiting just for you.
Yay!
Okay?
I love that. Thank you, Urban.
So why don't you take a second and introduce our guests that are online with us.
I would love to. I am privileged this evening to introduce you to Gary Herbold, the founder and president of our awesome company, Amerit Consulting, and my direct boss, Michael Larkins from the Evergent Group. So welcome, you guys.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Great.
Good morning.
So start us out. Tell us. We have a great story. As a matter of fact, why don't we start out with Gary, because I understand he has quite a history here. So, Gary, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm about 5 feet 10, 180 pounds.
Okay, now you're starting to sound like Urban.
Yeah.
You're interviewing for Eve over here.
I
know. So, anyway, Gary, tell us a little bit about your service background first.
Well, my service background started in 1965. I signed up for 4 years. At the time, there was a draft, which is something that's not heard of today. Everybody volunteers today. So in the draft and during the draft, my number was in the 200. So I got called up, joined the Navy. And from there, I signed up into the medical corps and was a corpsman. After which, during the end of my third year and the beginning of my fourth year, I was assigned with the Marine Corps out of San Diego at 1st Mardiv, and was sent to Vietnam, and was with a 326 group in Vietnam, and we were surrounding Da Nang and so forth. And that's where I was injured during the Tet Offensive at 68, 69 twice. And after the second time, I thought I would take a vacation and come back home. And so that's what I did. I was done. So, and then fast forward, I came home. It was difficult for me to find work and so forth. Eventually I found work in Nevada, which is where I'm from. And then in 1989, there was a movement here in California after I came down here to California, and one of our members of our Vietnam group had spent some time in Korea before that and started a campaign to see if California would entertain the idea of shifting some of the work toward Vietnam veterans, and which also included those from Korea. And so that was brought into law, and the mandate was signed by the governor then, and now it still stands today, where 3% of the government spend here in California is directed toward disabled veterans. And that's really where my story begins as a business owner. Being disabled, I was not real comfortable with being a person with a disability, and it was upon me to focus more on the last 7 letters of that word rather than the first 3 letters of that word. And it took me a while to accept the idea that I was disabled, and I was not comfortable with that. But it took me a while. I did accept it. I started the business in 2002, Amerit Consulting. At that time, I had 5 other business partners at the time. They fell away. And then I picked up the business partners that I have today, and this is where we are with Amerit Consulting. Since then to now, where we have a flourishing business here in California, and we service the rest of the nation as well.
That's great. Before we go too far, I definitely want to hear more about Amerit Consulting, but I would suggest that you take 1 minute. I'm going to post up a little thing for Urban here. Get on YouTube and Google TED Talks Urban Miyares, and you and Urban have a very similar background. So I think
we probably know a lot of the same people, and it's a pleasure to meet you. From Lopez, going back, the rest of the soul, with the movement to get service-disabled veterans what they have today to the federal level, and also it's a pleasure to talk with you.
And Gary was awarded the John K. Lopez Award for Business Excellence from the state of California just a few years ago.
Wow. Amazing.
So
I'm like speechless, and Andrea's never speechless.
And that's never
no, Andrea's never speechless.
And it's been an exciting ride. When I joined the company 5 years ago, we were a $64 million business, and now we're at well over $125 million. Right, Michael?
Yeah, I think we're about 145, actually.
145. I lied. Yeah, I like that.
Now, what was the secret for growing this? Because you started out with 5 partners. They fell away. We don't have to get into the details of why that happened, but I'm curious how you were able to just carry on from that, find new partners, and grow it to what it is today. How did you make that happen?
I had this in me that once, and maybe it's the Bulldog Marine in me, but...
I'm the daughter of 2 Marines, yeah.
There you go. Awesome. I love it. That I never gave up on the inside to have a business of my own and to make it work. The other companies that I had worked with before, which were unrelated businesses, never worked out for me. I had to have something of my own. And once I saw what was there for me to take at just saying yes. All I had to do was say yes and sign on the dotted line where I needed to be certified by the state of California. I was off and running. My business partners at the time did not see that. The vision that I had was different from what they were thinking that the business was going to be. And there was a very, very large distance between all of us, and we just parted ways as friends and so forth, and they went back to work for somebody else, and I did not. I worked for me. I was completely convinced, and I never looked back, leaving my prior employment to what I was going to build at that particular time and put people to work, especially disabled veterans and veterans of all kinds, whether they're disabled or not. It didn't make any difference to me. I wanted to have that for us to build on.
So, Gary, you have a lot of experience now, lessons learned. If you were to talk to veterans today who are thinking about starting their own business, they're tired of working for somebody else, they want to start their own business, what are 3 pieces of advice you would give them?
First, a piece of advice: don't do it.
That sounds like Urban.
Okay. It's really hard.
It was not what I was looking for.
It's really hard. Oh my goodness. I guess it's to know yourself, know thyself, however you want to say that. But you really need to look inwardly toward what it is you can do to offer that is something new in the marketplace, whether it's a service related or whether it's a product related. And there's lots of new designs of everything out there, toys and machinery and something to make to replace gas for cars, things like that. Whatever it might be, you have to be able to, and this would be part number 2, have to be able to accept the word no. I don't want what you have. What you have is not for me. And you have to be able to accept the fact that someone is going to reject your idea or your product, and you have to keep moving on. So if they say no, that is not necessarily open the door and help you out the door and close the door behind you. It's, I want to hear more. Tell me more. Because if it's a new idea, those folks that you're introducing this to have never heard of it before. Therefore, you must expand on what it is that you want to sell.
This is one advantage. I definitely agree with you. One advantage veterans have, especially those that have been through what you've been through. I can remember in the 60s, we always had that saying. I'm sure you can remember this. What are they going to do? Send me to Vietnam? So we kept on pushing forward all the time, and that's one of the things. In I can remember, boot camp and all that. What's the worst that's going to happen? Just keep on going, keep on moving forward.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170, theanswer.com. Give us a tweet at Close Up SD. Email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com or find our page on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with Andrea Kay, Urban Miaris, Eve Nasby, Gary Herbold, and Michael Larkins. So quite a little episode or a little segment we have here. So, Michael, tell me what's new with you. You've been doing a lot of traveling for your company.
Yeah, we have been doing a lot of traveling. And by the way, when you asked Gary what made him so successful, I was here waving my hands. I thought for sure the answer was me. So my pandering didn't work. I'm going to have to stand on my own. Barry, things have been real busy. It's been real positive for sure. Got back from a trip from India and then up in the Bay Area now. But our industry is continuing to grow, I think, for strategic reasons. Organizations are continuing to see the benefit, and no stopping in sight. So we're seeing a huge increase. One of the emerging trends is direct hire placement. I think organizations are now realizing to be able to find and keep the best talent, you can't put them on a contract. So we've really seen our direct hire placement business explode. And then more recently, what's evolving is what's called RPO, or recruiting process outsourcing, where organizations are growing. They may have a limited size of their internal talent acquisition team, but they've got so much need in various areas for skill or geography, et cetera. And so our model helps to kind of fill their pipeline with talent. It's a much more economical alternative to help a growing company be able to find the talent they need. And really kind of what we've seen evolve and what we've taken the initiative to do is that originally it was intended to find specific skill sets, but now we're using the same model to be able to pipeline veteran talent. And recently, Gary and I were fortunate enough to be invited to the White House for an event related to persons with disabilities. It's the 25-year anniversary of ADA.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Congrats, Eve.
He didn't even bring me an ashtray, okay?
I got you the M&Ms.
Wow.
So now we're in discussions about how we can utilize that same model to help organizations find persons with disabilities. So those are really kind of the two emerging things that are occurring right now.
Well, I find it interesting, and one point that it reminded me of is, we think about, when we talk about getting veteran placement into the workforce, one of the things that people don't understand, and maybe, be it Eve or Michael can comment on this, employers can essentially get huge tax credits by hiring veteran employees. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if one of you can chime in on that, because one of our other sponsors will be on with us here shortly, which talks about how to get those tax credits. But tell us what goes on there.
Michael, you want to take that?
I'll let you take that because you're much more educated.
Yeah, sure. So if you're an organization that's looking at hiring persons with disabilities or veterans, there are tax credits that are available to you. There's organizations out there like Tax Credit Company that can actually help vet those individuals, and you can get up to a $9,600 tax credit for hiring a qualified veteran.
And then additional credits if you have to make a special accommodation.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yes. Great question.
Yep. Great. So that's good for the employers. We're running short on time. Tell us anything. What do you want to tell our listeners before we go? Michael.
Gary.
I'll take that. Amerit Consulting is part of the emerging group, so we have Amerit Consulting, Suna Solutions, and Zempleo, all offering a variety of different human capital management solutions out there. So we've got a lot of opportunities. We're staying kind of ahead of the game, but we're pretty excited about the trends that are emerging. We have some major legislative issues that are coming our way that are affecting all employers related to California SIC. Of course, ACA had a big moment this week with the Supreme Court. So I think there are a lot of things that are coming at employers, and whatever we can do to assist them in finding the best talent possible, we'd love to be able to help.
So if there's a business out there listening that's interested in some labor which of those companies should they contact? Where should they go?
They should just call 619-244-3000. That is my phone number, and I can help them.
We didn't have to worry who was going to chime in.
Exactly.
Wait, let me think about that.
Oh, wow. So anyway, this has been a great interview, Gary. I want to thank you for chiming in. Haven't talked to you before, Michael. We've known Michael for some time.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
So the whole company's awesome. So let me go back, Eve. Leave our listeners with the website as well as they can find out more information.
Yes, for additional information on the Amerit Consulting, just www.ameritconsulting.com. That's AMERIT consulting.com. Or if you want information on hiring veterans, it's www.thebrave.us.
Great.
Yay.
Great. Guys, thanks so much for being with us, and I look forward to carrying the conversation further down the line.
Thank you so much, and have a great 4th of July, everyone.
Great. You too.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD, or just find our page on Facebook. You can always email me at Barry@CloseUpSanDiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.